This story came from RedKiller of Korea when he was serving his military duty in Gangwondo province. From here on out, you'll hear the story from his point of view. I was a 21 years old volunteer soldier at the time when I learned that ghosts were real. Our troop used to guard from a watchtower in Gangwondo province camp. For those who weren't familiar with this location in South Korea, it was a mountainous location where you can find the DMZ, or demilitarized zone. It was around midnight, and my shift was almost over, so I was just waiting for the new troop to take my place in the watchtower. That was when I heard the clear footsteps approaching me from a distance. The night was dim and quiet, so I knew that I heard something. I definitely heard something. Then it stopped. I kept on waiting, and waiting, but they never arrived. I felt that it was strange. I heard them coming, but why did they stop? Soldiers should be punctual, I thought. I decided to look for them, but the moment I turned around, that was the time I saw 2 helmets. Those were old and broken. What's worse was that they were hovering in the air without a head nor a body to be put on. I tried to rub my eyes, but I could still see those things floating and waiting for my reaction. Slowly, a light under each helmet, which was similar to a lantern, took shape instead of 2 bodies. It was getting clearer and clearer as time went by. Someone was trying to pull a prank on me, or so I thought, and went back to the watchtower to continue my work. A few minutes later, I heard the sound of the door opening. Finally, my fellow soldiers had decided to get serious and stop their childish play. I knew that ignoring them would make them lose interest in their prank and get back to our duty. I pretended that I wasn't suspecting them of anything and asked, where were they a few minutes ago? They told me that they were on their way to my watchtower. They must have sensed that I was a little agitated and told me that they arrived exactly on time, so there was nothing to worry. What they said was true. Soldiers had no time to pull a stunt like that, especially us, volunteers. After thinking about it, I decided to tell them that I saw something strange. I heard some footsteps, and I thought it was them. When I went out to check, what I saw were floating old helmets in the air. They told me again that it was hardly possible for them to come by that early just to set up a joke like that. The realization sent a chill down my spine. That was the first time I saw ghosts, and it was an unforgettable one for me. Another story had happened to my fellow soldier. He was doing his usual rounds at Gangwondo camp when he saw a girl wearing the Korean traditional dress called hanbok. She was standing a good few meters away from him and had a messy long hair, which was covering her face. I thought that it was a typical kind of maiden ghost, but then another soldier spoke. He's asking about the exact location where our fellow soldier had seen the ghost. He said it in as many details as he could, and the other soldier admittedly told us that he saw 2 girls the other night standing in the same location. When he had his rounds in the morning at the same place, he saw a single grave. It wasn't even the end of his story. He had his rounds there again in the evening and saw 2 graves instead of 1. He must have been possessed by the ghosts, since there was no grave in that location. I think the base camp, which I had served my military duty, was used to be a grave for those soldiers who fought and died in June 25 Korean War. The soldiers were still doing their duty, even beyond the grave. This is MiskyTear once again. This story was from my Korean friend RedKiller. He used to serve in the army and was now living a normal life. I'd like to thank him and his friends for sharing their ghost experiences with us. If you have any questions or story to tell, you can send it to our email address on the description below. And if you liked this story, give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye for now, and see you next time.